Then do you also recall to telling Detective Gaither, again, with her asking about when did this beef begin, you also telling Detective Gaither in this now January 28th, 2015 interview about the shooting at the gambling house on Lakewood.
I don't recall.
And in this January 28th, 2015 interview, you actually told Detective Gaither that initially you thought another gang did the shooting at the gambling house.
I don't recall.
Okay. But then later you learned that it was Kel who did the shooting at the gambling house.
And he's still alive?
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither about the shooting?
I don't recall.
So now is it fair to say that both in January 11th of 2015, now in this second interview, that you told the same story about this gambling house shooting in Lakewood?
You just confused me. What'd you say?
Now for the second time, have you told another sub-detective about the gambling house shooting in Lakewood?
I don't recall.
Do you also recall in the same January 28th, 2015 interview telling Detective Gaither that Kel wanted to speak with Doug on FaceTime?
I don't recall.
And this is why you were at the Cascade skating rink. You told her about the Cascade skating rink incident as well.
Okay. I don't recall.
Okay. And that you told Detective Gaither that when Thug and Kel spoke at the Cascade skating ring, you want to be a party opponent mission. That's what Thug said.
Go ahead.
Everly. That Thug told Kel he wanted Kel to pay for the window that he shot up.
The man rich. Why would you? I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that that was the conversation that Thug and Kel had?
I don't recall.
And that Kel said that he wasn't going to pay for the window.
I don't recall.
And in the same January 28th interview, you also then told Detective Gaither, Detective Dennis, about the fight at Club Crucial that Monday before Donovan Thomas was killed.
I bet I was a victim in every interrogation, right?
Did you tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis also about the Monday night fight at Club Crucial?
I don't recall.
And that you also told Detective Gaither at the same Monday night event at Club Crucial that you had money flashing and that Kel walked up to you and punched you.
Boy ain't living like that. He ain't living like that.
But did you tell Detective Gaither that this occurred?
I don't recall.
Also, in the same January 28, 2015 interview, is it true that you also told Detective Gaither that after Kel beat you up, you ran out of the club and went outside of the club and saw Bloody J?
I don't recall.
And in the same January 28, 2015, did you also again then tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that people in your crew jumped Bloody J?
People in my crew?
Yes.
My crew in prison.
Okay, back in January 2015.
My crew in prison. Everybody who ran with me in prison.
Okay. Back in the
With life sentence.
All right, Mr. Kaplan, listen to the question. Let her finish the question, and then you can answer it.
In January 2015, did you tell Detective Gaither that at the same Monday night event at Crucial where you got beat up by Kel, that when you went outside, your people jumped on Bloody J?
I don't recall.
Now, also during this same interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, did you then also tell them your concern about people blaming you for Nut being killed?
I don't recall.
And matter of fact, you were concerned that you always get blamed for everything.
Because I'm always into stuff.
Okay. And that you told them, so the night after Nut got killed, you came down to talk to the detective to declare your name.
I don't recall.
And matter of fact, you told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that people told you that you shouldn't go down to the police department.
I don't recall.
But you decided to go down anyway to clear your name.
You asking me?
I'm asking you.
I don't recall.
Did you also tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that on the night of Donovan Thompson's murder, you actually told your girlfriend to call the police and tell them what was going on, tell them everything, because you again wanted to clear your name about being involved in Donovan Thompson's murder?
I don't recall.
Now, during the course of this same January 20th interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, do you recall them asking you questions about the relationship between Nut and Thug?
I'm from Canterville.
Okay.
I can't tell you nothing about two other people from other places.
Do you recall telling them in this interview that Nut and Thug, you did not know of Nut and Thug having a problem?
I mean, when the police questioned me, especially Gaither, I know she after me. So she acted like she was into what I was saying, and I was feeding her whatever came to my mind.
So
they tried to make it make sense.
So why wouldn't you say that they had problems with each other versus that they did not have problems with each other?
Because I'm trying to make up a story. I don't know what nobody have. I don't know. I don't recall what I even said to her. I just know that anytime they question me, I'm trying to tell them anything to get them out my face.
Now, you said that you're from Mechanicsville. Do you know what part of the state Thug is from?
I don't know. I just met Thug when I got out of jail. We not from the same neighborhood. I don't know where he, like, Cleveland Avenue, I guess. I don't know.
And what about Nut? Did you know what neighborhood Nut was from?
I don't know.
Now, after Nut was killed, did you go to Miami?
I don't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis in the same interview that you went to Miami after Nut was killed?
I tell the investigators anything. I don't recall what I told them.
And when you were in Miami, were you there with Shannon Stillwell?
I don't recall.
What about Quindarius Zachary?
Who?
Little D from Cleveland.
I don't think me and him ever traveled together. I don't recall.
Do you recall being in Miami while you were in Miami?
I don't recall being in Miami.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that you and your child's mother went to Miami to lay low after the shooting of Donovan Thomas?
Back then, I tell so many lies. I tell 15 lies in 1 second. I don't recall what I said, and I'm not even trying to remember what I said either.
Do you recall didn't you tell Detective Gaither Dennis that Thug actually told you to come down there with him to Miami to lay low?
Thug can't tell me nothing.
And you also told Detective Gaither that, again, after he told you to come down there and lay low to Miami, that you and your girl, you stayed down there for a week in Miami.
I don't recall what I done told the police. But for me telling you now, there's nobody walking this earth and tell me what to do.
Is going to Miami a bad thing?
No, which I just told you, you bring up something that you saying that I said to the police, and I'm telling you the truth right now. I lied to them. So I don't know what I don't know. Like, go ahead.
So have you never been to Miami?
I've been to Miami a lot.
Okay. So back in 2015, did you ever go to Miami?
I can't remember if it was 15 or 14.
Let me make it more specific. After Donovan was killed, did you go to Miami?
Man, I can't recall. And honestly, God, can't recall.
Now, when you spoke to Detective Gaither and Dennis, did you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis that you thought Thug was trying to get rid of you?
What you mean?
Did you ever tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you thought Thug was trying to get rid of you?
I don't think you heard me the first time when I told you. I don't run behind nobody. I'm from Mechanicsville.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. So what does being from Mechanicsville have to do with my question?
That means I don't run behind nobody else.
I didn't ask you about running behind anyone.
Saying something about getting rid of me, like you can't get rid of me.
Okay. So, is it your testimony that you did not tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis?
I don't know what I done told the investigators, detective, whatever you want to call them.
Isn't it true that you told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you actually spoke to Thug about the fact that you thought he was trying to get rid of you?
I can tell the investigator anything because I know one thing. They talking to me. So they got to go with what I say. So I don't recall what I told them. I would tell them anything that come to my head.
Okay.
I don't recall what I said to them.
Do you recall telling didn't you tell Detective Dennis and Detective Gaither that Thug called you and said, bruh, they say I got a hit out on your head, bruh?
I told you, I'm a play a victim in everything. I'm a victim.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'm a justify myself by being a victim.
Okay. And your response to him was like, you do? And then y'all both started laughing.
That don't even make sense. I don't recall none of that. Saying it, me telling it. I don't remember specific what I said to any investigator. I know I told them whatever. I feel that I can convince them to let me go.
Fly in the booth, but I need some more. Your antics make me bored, cause I just came around to say hello. I just came around to say hello. Hello, Moto.
School is back, and Dick's Sporting Goods has what you need to win your year.
I know
Check
that
backpacks
razor
off
is
your list from
pocketbook
Nike, the
friendly.
North Face, and...
You told Detective Gaither and Detective
I had
Dennis
one back in the day.
while you were in Miami, initially Thug treated you like a brother, but then things felt different.
Did you have proof of me being in Miami?
Ooh.
Did you provide us your phone number so we can get your phone records, Mr. Copeland?
Which phone?
The phone you had in 2015. Did you give police your phone number so we can get your phone records?
I don't recall. Now you're talking about.
Did you give police your phone number in any of these interviews so that we can get your phone records?
Which phone?
Your phone that you had back in 2015.
I had more than one phone.
Okay. So did you give any phone number to the detectives back in 2015 so we can get your phone records? Any phone you have?
Shit. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't recall.
Did you, matter of fact, tell the police to go get your phone records so that they can confirm where you were on the night of Donovan Thompson's murder and afterwards?
Oh, shoot.
I probably don't know.
Yo, if
I
y'all
probably
see something
did.
coming up on the screen, I
And
apologize.
did Detective
Okay, our little manager, he said bless you.
now in that same interview that you had with regarding Donovan Thompson's murder?
I don't recall what I told no investigators.
Okay.
Apologize.
The only truth it is I made these things up. I don't know about nothing going on.
Why would you need to make up something about Moonsoon coming down to clear his name from a murder?
I'm speaking in a general, like you got me up here like I know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so I'm asking you now.
I don't remember what I don't told the police. I keep telling you that. You can't keep asking me what I told the police if I'm telling you that I lied to the police. I can't remember no lie.
Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
You got to remember the lie. Woody, you got to remember the lie.
Position is with
He said he don't remember no lie.
You don't, but she's still going to ask you specific questions, and you need to
He
answer
is
the
funny.
specific questions also. And you don't have to preface every one of them with your general position about it.
Yes, ma'am. But you don't ask me. I'm not trying
Wait
to.
till there's another question on the floor, and I understand.
I'm not trying to be difficult.
I understand. Go ahead, Miss.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, earlier I asked you about an individual by the name of Bloody J. Do you know a Bloody J?
I heard of him.
Have you ever spoken to Bloody J?
I doubt it.
Okay. Back in the same January interview that you had with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, do you recall telling Detective Gaither, or did you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis that you were trying to hook Bloody J and Thug back together?
How would I don't recall.
And matter of fact, did you tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that Thug and Bloody J had a falling out because Bloody J joined IFK?
If you going off what I said in the past, do I told the investigators? That's crazy. I do not remember what I said. You can't get me up here to try to remember what I said to them. I don't remember what I said. You can ask me these step by step, but my response is my response. You want me to be honest? You want me to lie? I can't answer your question because I can't remember what I said. So I don't recall.
So I'm going to ask you now. Did Bloody J and Thug stop being friends because Bloody J started messing with IFK?
Thug behind you, ask him.
I'm asking you.
No, wouldn't that be called like hearsay?
I don't know.
People really fell out.
Why would you tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis?
Or
Ma'am?
an
Why would
opinion.
you tell Detective
That
Gaither
may not
and
be
Detective
fact.
Dennis?
I can't recall.
Okay. Now, going back to the January 28th interview. Of course, I thought just for one moment. After speaking with them briefly about the murder, did you then go into more details about the shootout on, well, not the shootout, but the shooting of your car on the highway? Do you recall telling them about who you believed shot at your vehicle on the highway?
I don't recall. Can I tell you what I do remember?
Is that about the shooting on the highway?
No.
Then no, not right now.
Okay.
Or let me ask you this: do you remember what you told Detective Gaither in January of 2015?
No, I was gonna tell you what I remember from when us killed.
Okay. Tell me what you remember the night that Nut was killed.
I remember if I said I killed him, that's all I remember.
Then that's the only thing you remember.
That's all I remember. I don't remember nothing that night. I don't remember where I was. I don't remember what I told the investigator. I thought that when they called me down there, I thought I walked in and he let me walk right back out. I don't remember sitting down talking to him. I don't remember him doing no ballistic. I don't remember him. I remember he said one thing and he left. He said, the man still on the street and everybody saying you did it. He like, man, I still got a body on the street. That's all I remember. I thought I walked in and walked back out. I don't remember nothing. Like,
And that was the first time when you went to go speak with Thorpe.
I don't even know if it was. I know.
Yeah, I think something happened. Like, all of us.
Of course. I don't have a way to. Yeah.
Damn, they breaking again? True, it is hot. Crack that just a little bit. Gotta burn my incense. Burning that blueberry incense. Shout out to God's Heavenly Scents. All right. I went in there to get a pen and went in there and did something else. Oh, baby, ain't shit. She won't let me see my son. I love the little song, y'all. I wish I could play it. Go to my Instagram page and I got them on there. I can't remember their name, but they the last couple of posts. The video on there, they outside somewhere. All right, where my water at?
Let's see. I may have to turn the camera on me off for a minute because I don't know what they got going on. They stay breaking, man. For nothing. I am dressed, but I got my little around the house clothes on. Y'all know I work from home. So I'm looking rough. Clean but rough. Baby mama ain't shit. She will let me see my son. Y'all hear me slipping and sliding in my slippers. Baby mama ain't shit. She can't see my son. Money comes to me easily. Money comes to me fast. I got an unexpected check in the mail. Sure, yeah, that's one of them ones. That's all right by me.
Building your online business? Go to Wix.com and set up your store
lie,
on a
y'all, that's
single
scary.
integrated platform. Add products, showcase them dynamically, and seamlessly track your inventory.
Sure, I thought some stuff about to pop off. All right, let me see something. Sure, I might as well package up some orders while I'm sitting here waiting. smell good. Oh, we back. I wanted to do something else, like I'm gonna do that on another live. I don't want to mix it up. All right, we got action.
Things working okay, so we will get Mr. Copeland back out up here, get the jury back out, keep moving forward.
I know that jury's sick of them.
Yes.
Sick. Yo, I'm about to mess up the church's money.
And I'm sorry, I know there are a whole lot of different Rule 22s out. I assume you've got one of them. Okay, so, I guess that just means you're gonna have to, we can't make the courtroom bigger than it is. You'll just have to get here earlier. I guess you're the odd man out today. Sorry. Just do the best you can. Just try not to be distracting, okay? Thank you. No, you cannot stand in the middle. Nobody needs to be standing in the middle. So you just do the best you can from there, or any one of the media aisles, you're welcome to be in. All right, thank you. All right, let's get the jury back out. Hang on, sorry.
Woody look nice in his little suit.
Thanks. There's so many ones. I keep track. We got some. All right, yes.
I have it.
Tylenol? Yeah, no, that's fine. Thank you. All right, I think we've gotten our mic situation fixed for at least the present time, so we're gonna get rolling again. Go ahead, Ms. Hilton.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, during this same interview, I think I just asked before we went on break that you saw that it was a grayish Impala that was shooting at you on the highway. Do you recall? Did you tell investigator Gaither and Dennis that in this January interview?
I don't recall what I told him.
When you were shot at on the highway while in your brother's vehicle, was there anyone else with you?
I don't recall it.
Was Demikion with you?
I don't recall.
What about Shannon?
Who?
Shannon.
I don't recall.
With this incident on the highway and you being shot at in the vehicle, did you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis that you had your brother file a police report?
I don't recall.
Do you recall them asking you why did you have your brother file a police report?
I don't recall.
Okay. And you told them because you didn't have a license.
I don't recall.
And were you ever arrested for filing a false police report in January of 2015?
I don't comprehend my charges.
Okay. When you had this interview in January 2015, did you leave that interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis?
You said January?
Yes.
I went to jail in February, so I didn't go to jail in January.
So is it fair to say that you did not get locked up for filing a false police report?
I guess, I don't know. I can't find no false police report. I didn't make it.
As a matter of fact, do you recall that Gaither and Dennis told you that in this case you were a victim? So they just wanted to find out from you what happened because you were a victim, because you were shot at on the highway.
Yeah, that's how they were tricking me. But I don't recall saying it.
Detective Dennis and Detective Gaither telling you you in Atlanta because of everything that was happening to you. I'm talking about January 25th.
I don't recall.
And you told me you didn't want to leave Atlanta.
Still.
Why you say I missed it?
Now, in the same January interview with Gaither and Dennis, again, do you tell them, again, that you had nothing to do with Nut being killed?
I don't recall.
Okay. And that you want
I'm
to make
sorry
sure
if
the
y'all
police
see smoke passing by the screen. I got an instant burning on video.
I don't recall what I told the police.
Also, during this same interview back in January of 2015, do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you had one of your friends buy a gun for you?
I don't recall.
And that your friend bought this gun in his name?
I don't recall.
And that the reason why you purchased the gun was to defend your house?
I don't recall.
And that you
The
actually told
cameraman
Detective, you don't
turned the
want any
camera
trouble.
over there because
You just want to protect your home. Do you recall telling Detective Gates and Detective Dennis that?
she looked over
I don't
there.
recall.
And in January 2015, had you been convicted of a felony prior to January 2015?
Huh?
Prior to January 2015, had you previously been convicted of a felony?
I don't know. What you mean?
Do you remember when you were first convicted of a felony?
After my mama died?
About when was that?
After she died?
Okay, when did your mom pass away?
2008.
All right. So if you caught your first felony after 2008, is it safe to say in 2015 you had been convicted of a felony?
I don't recall.
All right. When you told the police that you had a gun in this January interview, were you arrested for telling them that you had a gun in this January interview?
Was I arrested in January?
Yes.
What year?
2015.
No, I got locked up in February.
So even after you told them that you had a gun, the police in this January interview did not arrest you.
I ain't have no gun.
Did you tell the detectives you had a gun?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't think I'll tell them I had one.
Now, in the same January 2015 interview, you also told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis about this meeting with an individual by the name of Mo who wanted you and Thug killed. Is that true?
How would I know? I don't know.
Okay. You don't know about the meeting, or you don't know if you told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis about this so-called meeting?
How would I know somebody want us killed?
Okay. So is it true though that you told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis about this meeting with Mo?
I told and them people anything. Just like right now, me, you can have a whole conversation. I tell you about some stuff that never took place, and you'll swear that everything I'm speaking on was the God and it's true.
Okay. But now you've told two detectives, first Thorpe, now Gaither and Dennis, so excuse me, three detectives, about this meeting that Mo had and that they were going to kill you and Thug.
I'm gonna play.
All right, I think that was supposed to be a question. Did
I'll
you
rephrase it.
have it implied? Is that right at the end of it?
Yes.
Try to just form it into a question.
Yes, Your Honor. Isn't it true that you told Detective Thorpe and Detective Gaither and Dennis about this meeting that Mo had in which you and Thug were supposed to be killed?
I tell you, I'm gonna play a victim in every situation.
And you actually gave them details about this meeting. Is that correct?
I don't know what I told the investigators.
Matter of fact, you told the investigators somebody else that was in there that felt like I deserved to know. They came back and they said, hey, I had to get rid of everybody, bro. But they said they want to kill you. They're going to take me to a gas station and kill me. Like, who's saying it? Mo, and everybody said, woo. Bloody J was on the phone with Mo, standing next to the person that was telling me, said he ain't know the name of the person that was talking. And after everybody, I just said, kill him. And Bloody J said, woo. And everybody said, woo, woo. As in, that's a confirmation that they were supposed to go and kill you or have you killed.
Things don't work that way. When you speaking on doing something like that, you don't be open about it. So that's self-explanatory that it's a lie. You don't discuss killing people with multiple people. So you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You're not gonna be telling everybody you're gonna do it. I made it up. I keep telling you that.
And did you tell the detective that occurred at a gang meeting that you were not at? So someone at the gang meeting told you about what happened at the gang meeting.
I don't recall what I told the investigators, but I know that the things that anytime that they sat me down and they tried to question me, I knew I was about to go to jail. And even the times I didn't go to jail, I knew that I had done something stupid and I thought they was on to me, so I was trying to throw them off my trail.
And that this meeting happened before Donovan was killed.
Still, I don't know.
And that the reason why they wanted to kill you is because they thought that you had Bloody J jumped.
Huh?
The reason why they wanted to kill you is because you had Bloody J jumped.
I believe that if any gang wanted to kill me, I'd be dead by now.
And you also, in the same interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, you told Detective Gaither and Dennis that you actually texted Bloody J and asked them whether or not they had a hit on you. Responded to you. No,
I don't remember. I don't recall. I don't know nothing about none of that. I wouldn't have their number and they wouldn't have mine.
Now, back when you were interviewing with the detectives, both Thorpe and now the second interview with Gaither and Dennis, were you the only individual in the room with the detectives?
I don't know.
Looking at that picture, are you the only person in the room with the detectives?
This one?
Yeah, I want you to look at 378. Yankee, Bravo, and Alpha.
It looked like I'm in there by myself beside with the police.
Okay. And this is when you're telling the detectives all the things that I'm asking you about, correct?
I don't recall what I done told them.
Now, do you know an individual, who goes by the name Rich Homie Quan?
Mm-hmm.
Who is that?
Do you know a person who goes by the name of Rich Homie Quan?
Rich Homie Coin?
Yes.
Or the rapper?
He raps.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know him? Have you ever spoken to Rich Homie Quan yourself?
No.
Do you recall
I don't recall speaking to him.
Do you recall talking to Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis in the same interview about conversations you had with Rich Homie Quan?
No, I do not recall having a conversation about Rich Homie Quan.
And that Rich Homie Quan, you told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that Rich Homie Quan was a part of If Gang.
I don't recall.
And that you told Detective Gaither and Dennis that Rich Homie Quan felt torn between being with If.
They convinced them that I know what I'm talking about.
Okay. So why would you bring Rich Homie Quan into any of it? Why would that be?
Because they. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I hear you.
Why would it be necessary to even talk about Rich Homie Quan?
So
to the police.
So when the police question me, my whole motive is to get them off of me. So if they sitting me down, laughing, like you doing when y'all was up there asking me, and I told you I was lying. This the same thing going on. They sit here. I don't know about them asking me about Rich Homie Coin or nothing. But if they bring up a name, if they ask me something, I'm gonna come up with something that act like I'm in the midst, like I know what's going on. I don't sit around and gospel with people. I don't sit in people's faces. I'm out in the streets. I like to be in it. I like to be outside. I'm not sitting around trying to listen to what nobody got to say.
Okay.
He said he want to be outside.
But when you originally went to the police, it was a talk about being shot at on the highway. Rich Homie Quan.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Okay.
Sorry, y'all. I was just trying to straighten it
out. You are the future. Pursue tech careers with the DeVry Scholars Program. Advance your ambition.
So we talk. We the same set. I just can't turn my back on them. Like it ain't that, bro. This what you're telling him. You supporting these niggas. Bro, I'm telling you, the more you supporting them, the more they gonna come out and do that. If you leave them alone, then everything gonna go away. And this is what you're telling Detective Gaither and Dennis that you said to Rich Homie Quan.
So Gaither was a gang investigator, and what she do is she sit in the neighborhood, watch us all day, and she put cases on them. So I know Gaither to sit there, and so when I'm interacting with Gaither, the main thing go through my mind is to convince her that I know what I'm talking about. That was my motive. So be bringing up Rich Homie Coin ain't never been like that in my eyes. So for me to be, I'm just trying to make it seem like I know what I'm talking about. What they say they want a big fish, and he's a big rapper. So shit, I'm trying to make up whatever I can come up with. I don't know. I don't remember what I said to no police. It's all stuff I just out to the top of my dome. You ask me a question right now, I go out the top of my dome, and I convince you that I'm telling the truth.
Okay, so in response, you said
it's just safe to say that Lil Woody just straight up a liar. Let's just do that.
Then he said, "Why don't you protect me, bro? We need y'all, bro. I need y'all to protect me." And you said, "How the hell we gonna protect you?"
He gonna a lot of benefit him. That's
in the same interview with Detective Gaither. You said after you spoke with Rich Homie Quan asked for your protection.
He a millionaire. What he need my protection for?
Why would you tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis?
They the police and they trying to get me.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither about Rich Homie Quan's father's barbershop being shot up?
I don't recall nothing I said to no investigators.
And
a detective.
He thought that someone by the name of Tay shot up his father's barbershop?
I told you I did it.
No. Oh. You told the detectives that Rich Homie Quan thought that a person named Tay shot up his father's barbershop.
I probably did. Ain't no Tay.
But you were convinced that it wasn't Tay that shot up the barbershop.
What you mean?
You told Detective Gaither and Dennis that you don't think it was Tay that shot up his father's barbershop.
Hold on, y'all. I'll be back.
So I told him he did it, or I told him he didn't do it. Which one is it?
You told them that Rich Homie Quan thought that Tay did it.
Okay, so then I told the police?
Correct.
And then I told them that he didn't do it?
That you did not think he did it.
Yes, they are. You can
Do you
tell by
need me
the
to
fact
repeat?
that her voice goes up at the end. Well, it may be that too, but yes, these are questions.
Do you need me to repeat it? Okay. In your interview with Detective Gaither, did you tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that Rich Homie Quan thought an individual by the name of Tay shot up Rich Homie Quan's father's barbershop?
I don't recall.
In that same interview, did you also tell them that you did not think that Tay shot up the barbershop?
You're confusing me.
I'll repeat it one more time for you to separate. In this interview with Detective Gaither,
Might as well just
did you tell
pull my
Detective
scalp
Gaither
while I'm
and
sitting here.
Detective Dennis that Rich Homie Quan thought
Overruled, because it's certainly been asked twice or more, but it hasn't clearly been answered. He's sitting there saying right now, I don't know what you're asking me. I'm confused. So I'm going to permit her to try to break it down and ask it again.
So I'll start over. That a person by the name of Tay shot his father's barbershop.
I don't recall what I told the police.
Okay.
But I don't know.
All right. Now my second question is, in that same interview, did you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis you did not believe that Tay shot up the barbershop?
I don't know. I don't remember what I said to them.
And I should ask this, do you know an individual, Tay, who's from Bankhead?
There's some mean Tays in them.
Okay. Do you know a Tay from Bankhead?
A Tay from Bankhead?
Yes.
Not off the top.
In this same interview, did you tell Detective Gaither about this individual named Tay from Bankhead?
I don't know a Tay from Bankhead.
Do you know a Tay from the west side of Atlanta?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
How many Tays do you know from the west side of Atlanta?
Too many on the count. But not from Bankhead.
Now, back in January of 2015, did you ever learn about Strike That? Do you know someone that goes by the name of Lucci?
Who?
Lucci. A rapper by the name of YSL Rico.
Did she say the right letter? She said YFN?
What about him?
Do you know an individual by the name of YFN?
I don't know a person.
Oh, okay. She said
Okay. Have you ever met this individual?
You said, have I ever met him?
Yes.
Nope.
When you say you don't know him personally, what do you mean?
Because you said, have you ever met? We never shook hands, I never met him.
Okay. How would you describe knowing YFN Lucci?
He's a rapper.
Okay. Do you know him outside of being a rapper?
Nope.
In 2015, were you aware of his mother's home being shot at twice? Excuse me. You shaking your head.
I don't know nothing about him.
Okay. Do you recall in this January interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis talking to them about Lucci's mother's house being shot at?
I don't remember. I don't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that people thought that you shot up Lucci's mother's house?
low key a shameless plug, y'all.
Do you recall in this same
I'm oiling my
interview
scalp
back in
with
January
my
of 2015
with
Gaither
my
and Dennis,
hair
that you
butter.
were with
Y'all need to get over
Big
on
Blue
LenaLoveLather.com
when
and
Lucci's
get you a
manager
job.
called,
Cause
trying
it
to
smells so
find out
good and feels so good.
shot up Lucci's mother's house?
I don't recall.
Okay. And do you recall during this same interview telling Detective Gaither that when the manager called Big Boo, you were present and overheard the conversation?
I don't recall.
And in the same interview, you told Detective Gaither that the manager told Big Boo that he had $20,000 for whoever killed, or excuse me, shot at Lucci Mother's house.
I don't know nothing about it.
Okay. And that you actually took the phone from Big Boo and told them that you had nothing to do with shooting up Lucci's mother's house.
Okay.
Wait,
Okay.
what?
Do you remember telling detectives about
No, I don't
this?
recall.
Did that occur?
I don't know.
You don't know if you were present with Big Boo and took the phone away from him?
I don't know what y'all talking about.
Why would you need to tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that if that did not occur?
Cause these things I'm hearing in the street, so I'm trying to convince them to get off of me.
Specifically, didn't you tell Detective Gaither that when you took the phone, you said, man, I ain't did nothing like that, bro. You know, don't scream my name. I ain't got nothing to do with it.
No,
I ain't
I'm
said he
sleepy.
did. I ain't do that. I don't care about none of that. I didn't do that.
I don't recall.
And did you actually tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you were concerned because you thought that Boo was going to set you up and tell people that you shot Lucci so he can get the $20,000?
Huh?
Did you, in the same interview, tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you thought Boo would have set you up and told people you shot at Lucci Mother's house to get the $20,000?
I don't know nothing about that. I don't recall.
And after that phone call that with Big Boo, you were so upset that you had Montel take you home because of that phone call.
I don't know. I don't recall.
And you also told Detective Gaither that when you got into the car with Montel after this phone call, you told Montel, Boo tripping. Boo gonna try to get, you know what I'm saying? And Montel said, we got to stay away from them.
Nah, I don't recall. I supposed to be saying this stuff?
Yes.
Oh, nah.
And were you the only person in the interview room with Gaither and Dennis based on those pictures that are in front of you?
I was the only person in the room when I was telling you I made these lies up too.
All right. In the same interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, did you tell them about your relationship or your friendship with Little D from Cleveland and Shannon?
Huh?
In this interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, do you recall telling them about your friendship with Little D from Cleveland and Shannon?
No, I don't know nothing about that.
Okay. Is it true that you told them that the people that you're around, that you often hang around back in January 2015, is Little D from Cleveland and Shannon?
No, I don't recall.
And matter of fact, did you say specifically to Detective Gates and Detective Dennis, I keep a couple people around, you know what I'm saying? And Dennis asked who? And you said Little D from Cleveland and Shannon.
Trying to convince him. If I did say it, I don't recall. Like I don't told the police so much stuff like this, just made up. Like I don't remember what I done told them. So.
And then you also said sometimes Moonsoon may come around, but the primary people you hang with is Shannon and Little D from Cleveland. Little D from Mechanicsville.
But let you tell you, every time you say I'm about to go home, I'm about to go home Moonsoon. So it seemed more like I be Moonsoon more than I be with anybody else. Okay. From based off what you saying today, so you know it's all made up.
All right. Did you also hang with Moonsoon, Little D from Mechanicsville? Excuse me, I said Cleveland, and Shannon.
I hang with myself. I don't hang with nobody. I don't run behind nobody. None of that.
Okay. All right. Well, back in 2015, didn't you tell Detective Detective Gaither, Detective Dennis, I really have my trust in him. I wouldn't want nobody around me but Little D. This Little D from Mechanicsville. You know, Little D ain't gonna turn his back on me.
That's cap.
You said that's cap?
I don't remember saying that.
Do you remember, God bless you, when we were here back around June 10th, June 11th, that you said that Little D was the person you called your son?
Who?
Do you remember back in June of this year, around June 10th, June 11th, stating that Little D was like your son?
No.
Okay. No, you don't recall saying that?
I never said Little D from Cleveland with my son.
Not Cleveland, Little D from Mechanicsville.
What y'all talking about?
Do you want me to repeat the question?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't recall.
All right. I'll ask it, then you can answer it truthfully, I hope. Do you recall in June of this year saying that Little D from Mechanicsville is like your son?
I don't know.
No, you don't remember saying it? No, you didn't say it. What does I don't know mean?
I don't know.
What you want me to say?
I want you to answer the question.
What's your question?
I'll ask it one more time. In June of this year, when you were here,
This year right here?
This year right here, when you were here before, June 10th, June 11th, do you recall telling me when I asked
Booty
you
clean today, y'all?
from Mechanicsville, telling me he's like your son?
When I said I birthed him?
Yes.
I'm just being sarcastic.
Right. But that was to talk about the closeness of your relationship, correct?
What you mean?
When you say you birthed him, were you trying to what were you trying to indicate when you said you birthed him? What did you mean by that?
That was just an angry statement I made.
Okay. Did you at one point in time have a close relationship with Little D from Mechanicsville?
I don't recall.
All right. Now, going back to this January 2015 interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, did you speak to them about Thug seeing you talk to the police regarding Donovan Thompson's murder?
Did I speak to them about thugs? I don't recall.
Do you recall telling the detectives that Thug thought you were snitching because you were talking to the police?
Huh?
In the same January 2015 interview, did you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis that you thought Thug thought that you were snitching because you had been talking to the police after Donovan Thompson's murder?
That don't make sense. So I don't recall.
Okay. Didn't you tell the detectives in this January 2015 interview, Gaither and Dennis, I think I went wrong when I let Thug know that the detectives keep calling me.
You keep talking about what? You finished? You keep talking about what I told the investigators. Listen, I know they want to lock me up. I see them following me everywhere I go. I'm in the restaurant eating, they not eating. And they got me down here for questioning. I know they only question me to trap me up to get me. So I told them anything that came to my mind or whatever the case is. It don't make sense.
When you walked into the police department and to talk to Gaither and Dennis, you walked in on your own, correct?
Most of the time, they question me. I was in handcuffs. I don't.
In early 2015, isn't it true you met with the detectives 5 times?
Let me tell you more than that. I don't know how many times I met with them. I just know that the police questioned me every time that I was in handcuffs.
You had, in front of me, you had 2 dates, correct? Is that January 11th and January 28th?
Yes.
Permission to approach.
You may.
I'm going to show you this has been marked as Stacy Exhibit 378, Yankee Charlie 1. Does that date say February 20th, 2015?
Yes.
Now I'm going to show you 378, Yankee Delta 1. Does this say February 21st, 2015?
Yes.
And I'm going to show you 378, Yankee Echo 1. Does this say June 10th, 2015?
Yes.
Looking at 378, Yankee Charlie, Yankee Delta, Yankee Echo, do you see yourself in those 3 pictures?
Yes.
Right, this time the state like detective 378, Yankee Charlie 1, Yankee Delta, 378, Yankee Delta 1, and 378, Yankee Echo 1. Is that one?
Admitted without objection.
Now looking at these 5, on January 11th, were you in handcuffs when you went to go speak with the detectives?
Mm-hmm.
On January 11th, when you walked in.
You said January 11th?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Were you in handcuffs?
Nah, I'm like this.
Okay. Looking at January 28th, were you in handcuffs when you went to go speak with the detectives?
No, I'm like this.
All right. On February 20th, were you in handcuffs when you and Deshaun went to go speak with the detectives?
No, I'm like this.
Okay. And were you only arrested on February 21st when you went to speak with the detective because you're in a blue jumpsuit, correct?
Yes.
And on June 10th, you were arrested because that's when they arrested you in the house, correct?
You said what now?
June 10th is when they arrested you at your home, correct?
With the white shirt on?
Yes.
Oh, my hands up on the table. I don't know.
But do you recall June 10th being the day that they came to your house and arrested you?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes? You said, I just need to know, is that a yes for the record?
Oh. I think so.
Okay. Is that the day that you went to jail and you didn't get out till 5 years later?
I started with.
On June 10th. Did you get arrested on June 10th?
Yeah.
Okay. So out of all 5 interviews, you were only arrested 2 times. Is that correct?
I guess.
All right. So each.
Whether it's a last second bake sale, Taco Tuesday, or a meal for your future in-laws, it's gonna be great. With McCormick by your side for over 130 years, it's gonna be great.
Check for .gov on TSA PreCheck enrollment websites. It ensures you're dealing with an authorized TSA enrollment provider and not a third-party site that charges additional fees or might be fraudulent. If that checks out, you're on an official TSA website. Enroll or renew today. TSA.
Yeah, but they had me in the back of their police cars too.
Okay. How many times did you go to the Atlanta Police Department?
On my own?
In 2015. We're going to talk about just generally 2015.
I don't know. I don't recall.
All right. Do you see 5 different times in front of you?
I got 5 papers in front of me.
Okay. And would you agree they're all different dates?
Yeah, they all got different dates.
All right. And 3 of those 5, you are not in handcuffs. Is that correct?
Yeah, 3 of them are not in handcuffs.
And only 2 of them you are in cuffs, or you knew that you were arrested that day. God bless you.
I guess.
All right. The 2 times that you were arrested is February 21st. Is that what you have on the blue jumpsuit?
Okay, right there.
And June 10th when they arrested you at the house. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes for the record?
Yes.
All right. So the other 3 times, January 11th, you came into the Atlanta Police Department on your own, correct?
He caught me down there.
Okay. And you voluntarily went down there after he called you, correct? After you spoke with...
He took my baby mama down there and told me I need to be down there.
And you decided to go, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And after you interviewed with him, you walked out, correct? And you left. You're shaking your head for me?
Yes. I left.
Now, on January 28th, you also walked into the police department, correct?
I don't know nothing about it. I don't remember that at all.
Okay. But it's the same say that you left because you were not arrested in January of 2015.
Yeah, I went locked up in January.
Okay. And then February of 2015, that's when you walked into the police department with you and Deshaun, correct?
I think.
And do you remember that being the night or the early morning hours after people shot at you, Deshaun, and your baby?
He fit put me in handcuffs.
But did he put you in handcuffs?
Because the other police told, I don't know if it was that one right there, but one of the police told him, he whispered something to him. I told him, you're going to lock me up, nigga, go ahead and get out of the way.
And they decided not to lock you up, correct?
Because he wanted the gun.
But he did not lock you up, correct?
The next day he did.
Answer this question. On February 20th, did he lock you up?
He told me I got 24 hours to get him the gun.
Okay. And you were able to leave that interview room to go find the gun, correct?
Finesse.
You were able to leave, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes for the record?
Oh, yes.
All right. So when you keep saying they only want to keep locking you up, you only were locked up 2 times.
Well. No.
Okay. Do you recall today you said you spoke with police in the back of police cars? Do you recall how many times you did that back in 2015?
I don't know how many times.
When you were inside the back of the police cars, did they release you or did they take you to jail?
They released me.
Okay. So again, even those times you were not locked up.
I finessed him again.
All right. Now, going back to what I asked you about, your belief that you thought Thug thought you were snitching. Do you recall telling the police that every time you spoke to the police, excuse me, let me strike that, that there were times when the police would call you and you were in Thug's presence? So you were with Thug when the police would call you.
What you mean? You gotta be more specific.
Sure. In January of 2015, when police were calling you about Donovan Thomas's murder?
After he was killed, I wasn't around that much for him to be able to see me answer the phone or talk to any police or anything. What you talking about?
Did you tell the police when they were asking you about Thug thinking you were snitching? You told the police, because like every time he called, it's like I was right there in front of him and I had walked up. I was like, that was the detective. Like, shit, they trying to find out who, and he just felt like I was just making stuff up because I always stutter.
So when you snitching is based off the truth and off facts. Lying and trying to finesse your ways is different things. So there wasn't never the case there would never be the case if he concerned about me snitching up. So you only snitching if you telling the police the truth.
And back in 2015, when they were calling you and they were asking you about Nutt's murder, were you telling them that you were not involved in Nutt's murder?
I was telling them everybody. I told them everybody did. I told them Shell killed them. I told them all type of people did. I didn't know. I don't know. Y'all just pick and choose what y'all want to take and use. Did I not say Shell did it?
Did you tell them that you heard it? That could have been a rumor.
I told you it was a rumor that they said I did too, right?
Right, and you didn't kill him, correct?
How many times you gonna ask me that?
Okay, then. So if you're talking about rumors, the rumors aren't true. You just told them what you heard.
I'm saying what y'all want to pick and choose with. Okay, I don't recall.
And do you recall? Because you keep saying that you wanted to finesse the detectives. Is that fair? Do you recall them asking you about an event, a shooting on Spring Street, where Doug's girlfriend was having a party at a house or at a hotel on Spring Street?
I never heard anything about it a day in my life.
Okay, and do you remember telling them that you knew nothing about those shootings on Spring Street?
I guess I don't know. I don't know what I done told the investigators.
So if you want to finesse them, why wouldn't you just act like you knew about it and just tell them about it?
Because I didn't hear nothing about it. If I would have heard something from like the street saying, I could have been able to, act like I was there or act like I knew, but I couldn't because I never heard anything about it.
Right, but if you're trying to finesse them and you just tell them whatever they wanted to hear,
right? You
could have just told them, yeah, I heard about it.
So I couldn't because I wouldn't be able to speak on nothing where it'd be like, okay, like let's say they would say 2 girls got shot in the butt. I would be like, yeah, I was there, man. The 2 girls got shot in the butt. I couldn't because I never heard nothing about the story at all to be able to say. Act as if I knew.
But if you're finessing the police, that means you're just lying anyway, right?
So to finesse the police, you gotta act like you have knowledge. You gotta act like you know.
So if you could have just said, yeah, I heard about that shooting.
And come because I knew his next question was gonna be who did it or what happened or where was it or I couldn't say anything about nothing. So why would I speak on something and get caught up? I'm not trying to get caught up in my life.
In the same interview, did you also tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that on the Friday before Donovan Thomas was killed, that you went to DJ Drama's studio as well?
If I told the detective something like that, I probably did. I don't.
And that's something that you also told Investigator Thorpe when he interviewed you.
I hadn't heard the question yet.
You also told Detective Thorpe about going to DJ Drama Studio that Friday before Nut was killed as well, correct?
I recall.
Okay. So is it fair to say you told Detective Thorpe about going to DJ Drama Studio, then you also told Detective Gaither and Dennis at a later interview about the same series of events leading up to Donovan Thomas's murder?
Can you say that again?
I'm gonna give her a little latitude. I think she's trying to get clear what the witness's testimony is. Thank you.
When you first met with Detective Thorpe in January 11th, you told him about going to DJ Drama's studio the night before Donovan Thomas was killed, correct?
I don't recall.
Okay. You also now, in this January 28th interview, you've now told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis also about this going to DJ Drama's studio the Friday night before Donovan Thomas was killed, correct?
I probably did. I don't remember what. I don't know.
During this same January 28th interview, did you tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you actually owned a chopper, a gun, a chopper?
So it's no point in me trying to protect him no more because he did. But
You were making a comment about someone being deceased and passed away.
what you were saying?
Just go ahead and re-ask.
Yeah, my question was, in this same interview with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, did you tell them that back in January 2015 that you, when they asked you what type of gun you had, and you told them that you had a chopper?
Can you say that again?
Sure. In this same January interview where you're meeting with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, they asked you what type of gun you had. Do you recall telling them that you had a chopper?
Not the
I
shot.
don't recall what I just said to them.
And that's chopper is a chopper that was purchased by Quindarius Zachary or Little D from Cleveland.
I don't recall.
Now, I think I just heard you say that someone is dead and you don't need to protect them anymore. Who were you referencing?
Tate, threat?
Okay. Is that the young man who passed away a few weeks ago?
Yes.
Okay. What would you be protecting him from?
Oh, I didn't know they had a person passed away.
I don't want to talk about it.
And let me ask you this. Back in 2015, were you friends with Tay back in 2015?
Yes.
Okay. And one, I'm sorry to hear about your loss. In 2015, was Tay shot at by IF gang members while he was sitting in his vehicle back in 2015?
How am I supposed to know?
Do you recall talking to Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis about him being shot at in his car?
Like, if I said, I don't recall.
And is his real name Trevante Turner? You're shaking your head. Is that a yes for the record?
Yes.
Back in 2015, did Trevante Turner consider himself a part of YSL?
No.
Do you recall Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis talking about the fact that he was shot up by IF gang in the midst of the beef between YSL and IF gang?
All right. Threat had beef with Rich Homie Quan. I don't know what they beef was about, but Threat had beef with Rich Homie Quan, and he was on his ass. I'm sorry.
Who was on who's behind?
Threat was on Rich Homie.
Okay.
And yeah, Threat was on Rich Homie. And
Oh God, y'all, I'm sleepy.
Threat got into it with Nut now. That's it.
Take me a little nappy nap.
And at the time, was Rich Homie Quan claiming affiliation with If Gang?
Huh?
Let me ask this first. Are you talking about Rich Homie Quan and Threat? Was this back in 2015?
What you mean?
What you were just telling me?
No, it was 2014. I think it was one of them years.
And at the time, was Rich Homie Quan claiming affiliation with If Gang?
I don't know what Rich Homie was claiming.
And you said that Threat got into it with Nut and them.
Oh, y'all, my phone going dead. Hold on.
I don't know how it went, but I know that. Yeah, Threat like that.
Okay. Is that what started the beef between YSL and If Gang?
Threat wasn't YSL, like, you know what I mean? Like, people, YSL is not what y'all making it be. Like, I keep telling y'all that a person can wake up and say, Atlanta is a monkey see, monkey do city. Like, you see people doing something, you just do it. I mean, and people say, just because I know this person, oh yeah, I take a picture and say I'm YSL or whatever, but Threat was MDC. You know what I mean? There wasn't no YSL or that shit.
Did he ever stop claiming the MDC and claim YSL?
Nah, we don't switch up. That's just what it is.
And you said he claimed MDC. What's MDC?
I don't know.
Okay, but if you said he claimed it, do you not know what MDC stands for?
It's none of my business.
So when you say he's claiming MDC, what do you mean? When you say he's claiming MDC, what do you mean?
I don't ask questions. That's what I mean.
Is MDC a music group?
Ask them.
I'm asking you.
I think they got rappers. I don't know.
Okay, are they a music group?
Huh?
Are they a music group? Does MDC stand for Most Dangerous Clique?
Ask them.
I'm asking
I'm
you.
from Canterville.
Okay, but you said he claims MDC, so I'm asking you. Does it stand for Most Dangerous Clique?
If I say yeah, and that ain't what it stands for, you're going to say I'm lying. So I don't know what it stands for.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gates and Detective Dennis about members of MDC beating up Little D from Mechanicsville in the club, in Club Crucial?
I don't recall. Probably so. I ain't no telling.
Do you know if members of MDC beat up Demekion or Little D from Mechanicsville in Club Crucial?
They did. I was laughing too.
And MDC, are they from Bowen Homes?
No, ask me. Ask them.
Did you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis in an interview that you were
No, I'm
cool
trying
with
to
MDC dudes because you grew up in Bowen Homes
charge
and they
the
from
phone.
Bowen Homes?
I'm from Canterville.
But that you spent some time, did you spend time in Bowen Homes?
All right.
I don't recall.
That's it. So
You don't recall living in Bowen Homes before moving to Mechanicsville?
Oh, I stayed in Bowen Home.
Okay. And did you tell Detective Gaither and Dennis that you stayed in Bowen Homes prior to moving to Mechanicsville?
I don't know if I told them that.
And that because you did stay in Bowen Homes, you
All
were
right.
cool with a lot of the dudes in MDC. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that?
I don't recall.
You cooking with grease.
So he claimed MDC. What does that mean to claim? To claim a click or claim MDC. What does that mean?
What you mean?
You said it, so I'm asking, what did you mean? You said he claimed MDC. What does that mean?
Ask it. I don't know.
I'm asking you because you said it. So what did you mean?
That's just how I talk.
Okay, so what did you mean when you said that?
You said something about, was he YSL or something? I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, you can't tie my friends into what nobody else got going on. Like, when you speaking on gangs, you know what I mean? A gang is a gang. That shit don't have nothing to do with nothing else.
If you
I'm sorry. I ain't
sorry.
frustrating me up here.
That's fine. So what did you mean? I'm asking a very specific question. What did you mean when you said he claimed MDC? What does that mean to claim it?
I guess we gotta Google it then.
Mr. Copeland, she's not asking what does it mean objectively. She's asking what did you mean when you said it.
I just said it, I don't know.
He should just say, those your people. Those are your friends. He should have said that when they asked it.
Now,
Even if it ain't true, we grew up together type shit.
now earlier we talked about you talking to Nut back in 2015. Do you recall ever meeting with Nut to give him back some items that were stolen from him?
Ooh, that feel good and smell good.
Do you recall, isn't it true that you told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that prior to Nut passing away, that someone broke into his car and you ended up with the merchandise from his car being broken into?
I recall telling you in the back room somewhere in this courthouse that I lied, and I'm being truthful today by telling you that I made it up. So what I said to the investigators in the past, I came forward and told you that I was in the room by myself when I told you that. I don't have no reason to lie. Don't nobody intimidate me. I'm not trying to protect nobody, no nothing. But I'm not going to sit up here and tell a lie that I can't keep up with. That's just it. I don't know. Like, what you talking about?
Okay. We're going to get to what you told me, but I'm going to ask you first. Did you tell back in 2015 that you met up with Nut because someone stole some of his items and you gave him those items?
I don't recall.
Okay. Now,
I pay too much.
okay.
Oh,
Do
I
you
didn't
recall
put that there.
telling myself and Investigator Long that you actually took those items, but you didn't return them?
I did tell you that.
But more importantly, that you actually met up with Nut. Do you recall telling the police that you met up with Nut to give him back those items that were stolen?
I probably did.
You probably did tell the police, or you probably did meet up with him to return the items to him?
I probably did tell that to the police.
Do you have any independent memory today of you actually returning the items to Nut?
I did.
You did return those
I
items.
did give him his stuff back.
So that was something truthful that you told the police?
That was.
Okay.
I don't know if I told it to the police, but I told it to you.
Isn't it true you also told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis in January of 2015 that you called Nut and said, hey man, I got your shit right here, pull up on me, and he came and pulled up on me, and you gave him his stuff back?
Take a little bit of lie and put it with it. Take a little bit of truth and put it with a lie. That's what I do.
And also, during this same meeting that you met Nut to give him back his stuff, you talked to him about the beef you were having with him and Kel. With you and Kel.
Can you say it again?
Sure. In this same meeting that you gave
Cherry
Nut
good.
Egg his stuff, you and Nut talked about the beef that you were having with Kel.
So when I gave Nut his stuff back, I didn't like the way he looked at me. So we didn't have no conversation. He seen all the people I had with me. He got his stuff back, said appreciate it, and he left. So what I told investigators was, I don't know what I don't recall what I told them, but I remember giving him his stuff back, and I didn't like the way that he looked at me.
Did you remember telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you and Nut had never had any beef and never had any issues?
I don't recall.
When you met with Nut, do you remember who you were with?
I ain't telling you.
Ooh.
Okay, so do you remember who you were with?
There was a lot of people with me.
Okay. Who were some of the people that were with you?
I can't recall.
That
You just
goddamn
told me that you
warning.
weren't going to tell me, so
Because I can't, it was a lot of people with me.
how many people did you have with you?
More than 5.
Did Nut have anyone with him?
I think so.
Do you remember who that was?
Yeah, I don't know them by name though. He had 2 or 3 people with him.
Okay. Do you remember telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that he had his brother Greedy with him?
I don't recall.
And that
I know a Greedy in Atlanta. I wonder if he's talking about him.
Greedy pulled up in the gray Impala, and then Nut pulled up in his Tahoe truck, his green Tahoe.
From what I remember was I was already talking to Nut when the great couple pulled up.
And was Nut in his green Tahoe truck? Do you remember?
Damn, I can't really recall what Nut was in. He may have. I ain't pay attention to his car. It's just the way the other car pulled up that made me pay attention.
Okay, so did you not like how Greedy pulled up?
Yeah.
Okay. So was your issue with the way Greedy pulled up, or your issue was with Nut?
The way they did. I don't recall.
While you're looking through your notes, we haven't had a break in a little while. It's probably time to at least stretch. Let's take a.
Oh, God. He's the most breakingest people. Mm-mm. Come on, they gotta stretch.
All right. We can all take a break as well. Anybody need to say anything for the record before we do that? All right.
That's it. Those right in.
I'm sorry, y'all. If y'all can hear me chewing on these things. These cherries. Baby mama ain't shit. She won't let me see my son. I'm cold. Baby mama ain't shit. She won't let me see my son. Alexa, what's my notification? No, thank you. Baby mama ain't shit. She won't let me see my son. They need to come on. I need a new chair or some WD-41. Baby mama ain't shit. She won't let me see my son. Y'all, I gotta see who sang that song. I thought this was just blueberry incense. It's blueberry muffin incense. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all hear me smacking. These cherries good. I gotta buy a mouthpiece for my clarinet. That's what I gotta do.
We've got about 50 million followers. We're in the billions of views. And we're a small team. We always felt like our content was all about entertainment and being...
They need to come on. Y'all had all that time to chit chat. Come on, let's get to it.
Now, Mr. Copeland, we just talked about MDC, and I want to go back very quickly to the shooting at the gambling house in Lakewood. Remember us talking about that a little bit earlier. And when we talked about it earlier, do you recall back in 2015, in the same January 2015 interview, telling the detectives that initially you all thought it was MDC that shot at you at the gambling house?
Can you say that again?
Sure. When discussing the gambling house shooting, initially, do you remember telling Detective Gaither that initially you all thought that it was MDC that shot at you all at the gambling house?
I know MDC didn't shoot at us. By me.
And when you talked to Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis about the shooting, you actually went into some details about what happened that night of the shooting. Do you recall doing that?
What you mean?
Like telling Detective Gaither, giving them details about what happened the night of the shooting.
I remember what happened, but I don't remember what I told the police.
Okay, what do you remember happening?
Niggas was shooting at us.
Can you watch your language?
I mean, people were shooting at us.
Right. And where were you all? Where were you standing when they were shooting at you?
Outside.
Okay, and you said they were shooting at us. Who else was out there with you?
A lot of people, little kids, I can't be specific who was out there.
Okay. Do you remember telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that Thug was out there with you?
I don't recall.
Okay. And that the individuals started shooting from the bushes?
I don't recall where they were shooting at, but I thought they were shooting at.
And also, did you tell Detective Gaither that you ended up having to run behind a young woman who was out there as well?
I don't recall what I told the investigators.
And do you recall telling the investigators that at the Cascade skating ring, you confronted Kel about them shooting at you all from the bushes?
What happened in Nut got nothing to do with YSL. This some shit, excuse me language. This got everything to do with Threat. You know what I mean? I was trying to protect Threat from the get-go. You know what I mean? Threat, and they had some more stuff going on. Like,
was Threat at the gambling house when he got shot up by Kel?
you said nothing I said can be used against me.
That's right.
Me and Threat shot up Rich on McCoy dead at the barbershop on Bankhead. I don't know what happened with Threat and Rich on McCoy, but
Ooh.
I'm gonna ride with my brother. And
Ooh.
they was beefing. And yeah, we pulled up and did that.
We done got a little bit of tea, y'all. Just a touch.
And as
Just a
result,
sip.
Why did you and Threat shoot up Rich Homie Quan Daddy's barbershop?
Because I'm gonna ride with Threat.
Okay. Did Threat tell you why he was shooting
I
up
don't
the
ask no
barbershop?
questions. I just say let go.
And when Rich Homie Quan's barbershop
Come on,
was
little
shot
notebook.
up, was that in September of 2014? Do you remember?
I don't know when. I know we went up there and shot it up.
Okay. Was it before Nut was killed?
Yes.
Do you remember what happened the day that you and Threat shot up Rich Homie Quan's daddy's barbershop?
What you mean?
Do you remember that day? What led up to you going to the barbershop and shooting it up?
I told them they go do it.
What led up to you saying, let's go do it? Why?
Threat was mad. He was like, he fucking keep scaring my language. He was talking, didn't playing like we somebody to play with.
Oh.
And I was ready. I had them choppers on deck.
Why was Threat beefing with Rich Homie Quan to shoot up his daddy?
Just damn Woody.
Cause we didn't know where he was.
So did you go to the shop looking for Rich Homie Quan?
Nah, we went to send a message.
What time did you go and shoot up?
I ain't telling you that.
Okay. Was it in the morning? Was it?
It was at night.
To your knowledge, did anyone send threat to go shoot up Rich Homie Quan's daddy's shop to send a message?
No, he said what he said, and I told him let's go do it.
You said that you all went to go send a message. What message were you sending?
We ain't the ones to play with.
Did something happen between Rich Homie Quan and Threat prior to you all having to go send a message?
Yeah, but I don't know nothing about it.
So how do you know something happened if you don't know anything about it?
Because I can't say for facts if it's the truth.
Now, did this shooting of Rich Homie Quan's daddy's barbershop start the beef between If Gang and YSL?
The beef was never between If Gang and YSL.
Okay.
The beef was between me, Threat, and Shell Kell. Rich Homie Quan. Because they were trying, Shell Kell was trying to ride Rich Homie Quan. The streets threw YSL into what me and Threat had going on.
Well, that takes me back to the shooting at Lakewood, right?
Can you repeat that?
Sure. You just said that the streets brought YSL into what you and Threat had going on, correct? That's what you just said?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes for the record?
Yes, not bad.
So going back to the shooting at the gambling house, when you learned that Shell Kell was the one who shot up Thug's vehicle, did you and Shell Kell squash your beef when the two of you met at the Cascade skating rink?
Nothing I say could be used in no courtroom,
That's correct.
federal or state.
Is that the parameters of the immunity or?
Nothing can be used.
Correct.
And what your question was?
When you and Shell Kell met at the Cascade skating rink,
He telling me
did
now.
the two of you shake hands and said that the beef was over when y'all met at the Cascade skating rink?
I pulled a gun out on him
Oh,
At the Cascade skating
at the
rink?
Cascade Skating Rink.
Okay. Well, who'd you pull it out on?
Shell Kell.
And once you pulled the gun out on Shell Kell, what happened?
I had somebody with me that I didn't want to get caught up in my bullshit, my shenanigans.
Who was with you?
I can't recall.
Well, if somebody you just
I
said,
can't remember who it was with me.
okay. So how do you know you didn't want them caught up in your shenanigans?
Because I wasn't going to put nobody else in my... I just wasn't going to do that.
Okay. So after you pulled the gun out on him, did you shake hands with him to say that the beef was over between the two of you?
Nope.
Okay.
I pulled the gun out and let him know I could have got you right now.
Okay. And you didn't shoot him?
No, I didn't.
All right. So, did you tell the police Gaither and Dennis back in January 2015 that you and Shell Kell shook hands and said that the beef was over and y'all two were laughing about it?
Well, I'm talking to the police, so I'm not going to tell them what actually took place. If I knew that y'all was going to do what y'all doing today, I wouldn't never even did what I did.
Okay. And then after you told the police that you all shook hands, you told the police that Kell wanted you to FaceTime Thug.
Thug had nothing to do with what we had going on.
That's not what I'm asking you, Mr.
I'm
Campbell.
telling you the truth.
Did Kel shoot up or shoot Doug's car the night that the gambling house was shot up?
Everybody could got shot up, and I can't say if I never seen who actually did it. They say that it was Kel who did it.
Was Doug's car one of the cars that was shot up the night that the gambling house was shot up?
My car was shot up, and a few other cars. I didn't see Doug's car because once I came from behind the wall, everybody was scattering or pulling off.
So is your response that you don't know if Doug's car was shot up?
I don't recall if his car was shot. I doubt it was shot up because I seen it a couple days later or whatever.
Did you tell the police that when back in this January interview with Gaither and Dennis, that when Kel asked you to FaceTime Doug, you FaceTime Doug and said, "Hey, Salon, the beef over with." So Doug was like, "Yeah, it's over with." And then Kel got on the phone and Doug started talking, and Doug said, "The beef ain't over with until you pay for my window. You shot my window."
I told you I'd make anything up if I'm talking to investigators.
Okay. And they clarified and they asked you, is that what Kel said? And you said, no, that's what Doug told Kel.
It don't take a rocket science to come up with. I don't recall what I told investigators. I know I wasn't going to tell them that I put a gun on Sheriff Hill, and if I didn't have certain people with me, I was going to do something to them.
Okay. And that, furthermore, you said, you told Detective Gaither and Dennis, yeah, he shot Doug's window. So Doug, like, I don't care about none of that, about what you all have going on. You still shot at me. Just pay for my window. If you don't pay for my window, hey, man, I ain't letting nothing go. I looked at Kel and said, that's between y'all two. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Dennis that?
You know, I don't even talk like that.
All right. And then afterwards, they hung up from FaceTime, and Kel's like, nah, man, call Nut. And so you and Kel started talking, and you told Kel, just pay for the window. This shit over. And Kel's like, pay for the window? This nigga just tried me. Did you tell the police that that's what Kel told you after he got off the phone with Doug?
When I pulled that gun out on Sheriff Hill, I said, I could have got you. He went his way, and I went mine.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Dennis that you actually did shoot at Kel's house back in June of 2015? In the interview in June of 2015, you actually told the police that you shot at Kel. Do you not recall that?
No, I don't.
Okay. So
I don't even think I got a chance to get him.
you said that. You told the police you shot in the air, but Kel was around. Do you recall telling the police
Can you
that?
say it again?
Sure.
I shot in the air, but what?
All right, well, then maybe something he told the police too. I don't know. She can ask about it and he can answer whatever his recollection is of what he said to the police. Okay, well, that is true. So make sure that you have a basis for your questions.
Yes, I do, Your Honor. Looking at those pictures, did you also speak to detectives in June of 2015?
June? Yes.
And during that interview, do you recall telling the police that you actually did shoot at Kel, but you told them that you actually shot in the air, but Kel was around?
I love God too much to be shooting at him.
Okay. Do you recall telling the police that you shot in the air?
No, I don't even recall ever shooting in the air.
Now, I want to go back to the January 28th, 2015 interview. Do you recall telling the detectives that you told Kel, you got a problem with Doug, you don't have a problem with me, that's over with, and y'all shook hands?
Yeah, I don't recall what I done told the investigators.
Now, in the same 2015 interview with Gaither and Dennis, after you spoke with them, Gaither and Dennis, about what led up to the shooting on the highway, do you recall giving them more detailed information about the shooting on the highway?
What you mean?
Sure. Let me ask you this. Do you remember how long your interview was with Gaither and Dennis?
I'm still here, y'all. I'm
So
gonna
many
turn
times.
on my television to this.
Do you remember the interview being approximately 3 hours?
Probably so.
And in the course of that interview, do you recall talking to them about a number of different things?
Like, I don't recall.
Okay. In speaking with Gaither and Dennis about the shooting on the highway, do you recall being at a pool party before the shooting occurred on the highway?
No.
Isn't it true that you told Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you all were at someone's home or at the pool party and you were getting ready to leave when you saw Booshi, Booshi, get on the phone prior to you leaving the party?
I don't recall what I told the investigators.
Okay. And you actually thought Booshi might be setting you up?
She know better.
Okay. But did you think, okay, did you tell the detective you thought that she might be setting you up?
I don't recall what I told the detectives.
And you thought that Booshi might be setting you up because her family was friends with Nutt's family.
I don't know who her family friends with. I don't even know who her family is.
Do you recall them saying in that same interview that once you all left the party, you all got on the highway and you got near, I believe it was Atlanta Medical Center back then? And that's the area in where the shooting occurred on the highway.
Can you say it again?
Sure. That after you left the pool party, you and I believe Shannon got into a car and you all left, and the route that you took was near Atlanta Medical Center.
Oh, I don't recall what I told the investigators. The truth of the matter was I was trying to protect my friend, Drake.
Okay. Were you trying to protect Threat when you all were getting shot at on the highway?
I don't recall what you're talking about.
Was Threat in the car with you when you were getting shot at on the highway?
I don't recall.
Do you remember telling the detectives that you reached out to Yak Gotti because he was dating Booshi at the time, to tell him you thought that Booshi set him up?
I don't recall.
And when you spoke to Yak and you confronted him and said, your girl just set me up, he responded to you and said, who? Booshi? and they told you he was gonna call you back. He hung up. He called back and said she doesn't know what you're talking about, that she didn't set you up.
I don't recall.
Now, earlier we talked about who you hang with, or back in 2015, who you were hanging with back in January 2015. And did you tell detectives in the same January interview, Detective Gaither and Dennis, that outside of Shannon and Little D from McCannsville, you're not going to see them hanging with anybody else?
I don't recall what I told the investigators.
Did you also tell them that there's not going to be one time that you don't see you and Little D together, no matter what?
I don't recall what I told the investigators. But the D is not he don't have my life, he not like me. The D is a pretty boy, he for the girls.
Okay, so when you say he's not like you, what do you mean?
I don't recall.
Okay, so why did you just say that?
I don't recall.
So when you say he's like the girls, what do you mean?
He's a pretty boy.
Okay.
He's not a troublemaker.
Okay, so what does that mean? Why did you tell me that?
The D was only around for the girls.
Okay. So when he got beat up in the club, was that only for the girls?
Yeah. I don't know.
So if he's only about the girls.
The D is not a fighter, he's not a shooter, he's just a pretty boy.
Are you aware of Little D shooting at people's houses after he got beat up in the club in April 2015?
No, the D don't know how to shoot no gun.
Were you aware of him being convicted for that?
Cause the D wanna be something that he ain't. So he probably took a charge. Ain't no telling.
Now, are you familiar with a person by the name of Trivia?
Who?
Trivia?
I don't know who that is.
Okay. Do you know of Moonson having a girlfriend named Trivia?
Oh, the girl. Yeah, I know. I don't know her. I know who you're talking about.
Okay. And Trivia, was she at one point in time also dating Shell Kel?
That's her.
I'm asking you.
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall telling the detectives about Trivia and about the issues you had with Trivia yourself?
I ain't had no issues with her.
Do you recall telling the detectives about Moonson and Shell Kel getting into an argument at Club Crucial?
We grown, we men, we ain't doing no arguing, especially not over no girl.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis?
I would tell them anything.
And that their argument wasn't over a girl?
I don't recall.
you talked about pulling a gun out on Shell Kelly. You recall telling me that a few moments ago?
Yes.
In this same January, excuse me, I thought it was in June, but in this same January interview, do you recall telling Detective Gaither that you actually told Shell Cal that you almost shot at him and that you could have killed him if you wanted to? You actually told Detective Gaither.
If I got a chance, I would have.
Okay. But did you tell Detective Gaither that you told Shell Cal that you almost shot at him?
I don't recall.
And that you actually told him, I was this close to you, but I could have killed you if I wanted to?
I don't recall.
And that's when you told him, I ain't shoot at you, but I shot in the air. If I would have shot you, I could have got you.
You said it again?
Sure. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that you actually did tell Shell Cal that you almost tried to shoot at him, but that you ended up shooting in the air?
I don't recall.
And that you told him, I would have shot you, I could have gotten to you, bro.
Anytime he got shot at? No, I don't recall.
And even when you told Detective Gaither that you intended to shoot at Shell Cal, were you arrested that day at all?
Because I'm not telling on myself.
But you told her what you told Shell Cal, which was that you were shooting at him.
I told her lies because I knew she wouldn't be able to go back and she wouldn't go back and get nothing to prove that what I said was true.
Okay, but you just told this jury that you did try to shoot at Shell Cal, so that wasn't a lie, correct?
I put a gun out on her. It's a difference.
Now, after January 28th, did you then go back to the police department in February 20th after you, your daughter, and your child's mother were shot at when you were coming out the house?
They took me down there.
And when they took you down there, did you speak with the police?
I had no choice.
And did you tell them what happened to you?
I told them different stories.
What do you recall happening the day that you, your child, and your child's mother were shot at?
My child was crying. She wouldn't stop crying. We was taking her to the hospital. We came out the door. Somebody was out there waiting. And then what happened?
Okay. When you went to come out, child, where were you? Where were you?
Home.
Okay. And where were you taking your baby?
To the hospital.
And today, do you recall which hospital you were taking her to?
I think Sky's right. This one that I used to always take her to.
Okay. And once you walked out the house, what do you remember happening?
I look around. I seen the car sitting at the stop sign, just sitting there. I walked towards the car. I walked towards my car, and I grabbed my baby mama's hand and pulled her closer to me. And the car pulled out like if it come, like they were trying to figure out which way they wanted to go. Then they turned my way. I told her to get down. I pulled the gun out, put my baby behind my back because she was in a car seat. I pulled my gun out. I can't remember if I threw my child in the back seat with my baby mama or if the neighbors is in the house.
And the neighbor, the house you ran into, were they initially outside as well when the shooting first started? Do you remember?
I think it was, but I can't. It was so fast. I wasn't caring about it. My only mind was on my kid and my baby mom.
And when that occurred, did you feel the need that you had to protect your child and your child's mother?
This is my job.
And that's why you shot back.
This is my job.
And once everything occurred, did you wait for the police to come to tell them about what happened?
No, I was trying to dip, but when I came out, the police came so fast. Shit, they caught me.
And when they caught up with you, did you tell them everything you just told the jurors right now while you were still on the scene, still back at Carver Homes?
No, I lied and said that somebody named Tate was shooting back at them. And when he said he gonna call Gator, whatever her name is, I knew she was gonna be like, which Tate? So I just went ahead and told him I was shooting back.
Okay. So when you went down to the police department and you spoke with the detective, do you recall initially not wanting to tell them who shot at you or who you saw shooting at you?
So, I mean, I tell it over and over and over and over and over that I never saw no one face. I to this day, I still never saw no one face. They tell us they pressured me. They kept asking me. I didn't know nobody. And then the next day they wanted the gun. They gave me 24 hours. I didn't give them the gun. They locked me up. And when they locked me up, they put me on isolation. They wouldn't let me out the room. I was going crazy. I was thinking about when nobody out there to protect my baby mama and my child. I was losing it. Shit, I was going crazy in that room. So I just wanted to put things in my head, and I was requesting to speak to the police so I could say anything to get out. So I could get out there and do what I know.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the interview now on February 20th, 2015. And looking at those state's exhibits, can you find the one that's February 20th, 2015?
It's right in front of me.
And is that the one that you and Deshaun were in the interview room together?
Yes.
Right. And do you recall there being times in the interview that the detectives left and you and Deshaun were in there by yourselves?
I can't really say how that interview went because the police don't question me so many times.
And in that interview, initially, did you even tell that first detective that it was Tay who shot you?
No, I don't know which. It was so many of them. I just know when I was still in Carver Home, I tried to go outside to get the key from the car because I had already left the car running and Deshaun dropped her purse, which had the key in it. So I was trying to go get the key, and then that's when the police caught me. And the first police that came up, he didn't know me, and I didn't know him, so I just told him anything. But when he was like, they getting the gang unit here, I was like, shit. Because the gang unit know everybody I know. So I just told them, I shot back.
And even when you told me you shot back, you did not get arrested for shooting back at Tay, or excuse me, shooting back at the cars that shot at you.
Right, so when I went ahead and admitted that I was shooting back, they searched me, and then he was like, okay, man, you're not under arrest, whatever. So he's like, we just want to take you down for questioning. I'm like, but if me and my baby mom got shot up, why you only taking me? If you're going to lock me up, just going to lock me up. And then one of the police because the police put like his handcuff, and he was like, nah, we don't need that. Told him put the handcuffs up. And he's like, man, come. So I like, do I got to go? He's like, yeah, because I got to get your statement. So I'm like, well, why she? And he like, she could come too.
And the both of you all went to the police department.
He took us down there.
And she wasn't arrested and you weren't arrested when you went down there.
No, we wasn't.
And during that interview, do you recall them trying to find out from you who was the person that shot at you?
That's what he kept asking. I don't recall, but I know that's what he kept asking.
And you were concerned about telling them because you were concerned about snitching.
No, at that point, I didn't give a fuck about. Oh, excuse me, sorry. I didn't care about nothing or nobody walking this earth.
During that interview, do you recall the detective? And let me actually just strike that. The person who interviewed you, was it Detective Thorpe?
I don't have a clue who it was.
Okay. Do you remember being Detective Gaith or Detective Dennis?
I remember them saying that the gang unit gonna come question me. I don't remember. I don't even know if they questioned me about this. I can't remember.
Okay. Do you remember the detective asking, or did the detective ask you, do you recognize anybody in the car that tonight that's any shot at you? Do you recognize anybody? And Deshaun says, I couldn't see their face. He asked you, you recognize who it is. I'm just waiting on you to be real with me about it. And you said it won't stop it. And he says to you, so you saying the loyalty, not knowing who is out here shooting at your baby mama and your baby ain't gonna stop it? Because you can't sit here and tell me today who you recognize as a person who was shooting at you. And then you continue to say, I didn't do nothing. I didn't kill nobody. I didn't shoot one of them. I haven't done nothing to them. I honestly haven't. They've been shooting up. I haven't retaliated not one time. I'm going to tell you why I haven't. Because I feel like police out to get me. Gaither called me. Guess what? They can call me. I put all my pride to the side. I put a lot of faith in her to handle. I'm sorry. And I put a lot of faith in her to handle this. And guess what? It's still going on. And he says to you,
Where's the question?
that he was concerned about snitching. Were you concerned about snitching?
No, I'm not. I wasn't concerned about snitching. It's more about getting whoever did that. So if I had to throw the police out by saying anything for the person who actually did do it, I don't want the police to know who did it because you shot me while I got my child. Fuck jail.
Okay. Do you recall telling the detective that one of your cousins was getting tortured now because people thought that he had snitched?
What I'm trying to do to people who shot me and my child, I ain't trying to see them in jail.
Okay. But did you tell the detectives, again, you were concerned about being labeled a snitch?
If that was the case, then I wouldn't be a snitch.
Isn't it true that you told the detectives, your cousin, he's getting shot at? All this because they think he snitched. I'm already going through enough about something I didn't do. And I know if I was to tell you what was going on, as much as I know, they're going to be on the records and all this here. And you got to get him locked up. And he going to get his discovery package. First thing you're going to do is send the two places, to the street and to prison. And float it all around the city of Atlanta. And then all around prison. But my name's over that. I'm not going out that way. No, I'm not going through none of that. Look, they shot at me, my girl, and my baby. Almost shot my face off as we were running. I'm not for sure, but I thought I heard one of the bullets hit the car seat and grazed the car seat. I don't know.
I've been in jail so many times that I know whatever I say to the police will be in black and white. They have me no concern about being labeled a snitch or being concerned about being labeled a snitch. The way I live and the way my mind set up is, I don't care how nobody label me. Like I told you, somebody shot me while I got my child.
And with that, the detective tried to encourage you to tell who you saw, and you would not. Is that true?
My right-handed guard, Detective Gaither, told me who shot at me. She asked me, did I see one of the people? And when she said that, I was like, I didn't see this boy, no nothing. First thing came to my mind, why you bring his name up? I didn't know no blood was in the car. I didn't know nothing. And when they told me that and she brought his name up, I knew who shot at me then.
didn't you send to Detective Gaither, and the day after this interview, a picture of the person who shot at you in the car?
Tay never shot at me.
But
There was a throw off.
But you sent her that picture, correct?
I can't recall. If I did, I probably did. But my whole motive was to get, in my heart, like I said last time, and to this day right here, I have seen Tay after the fact, and I didn't do nothing to him because I knew 100% fact that this boy didn't shoot at me or do nothing to me. The pressure that the Atlanta police put on me was just like to say anything at this point, because at the end of the day, I know this boy ain't shoot at me. Y'all went to lock them up and charge him. The DA office called me, and when I was in, they didn't call me, they called Deshaun. When I was in jail, they was talking to her, and they was saying something about trial. I told them people on the phone while I was in jail back in whatever year that was, that he wasn't the person that shot us. I'm not protecting him. And to this day, he's out wherever he at. I'm not protecting him. I never saw him shoot at me.
Okay. In the same February 20th interview, do you recall there being a period of time when the detective left the room and it was only you and Deshaun in the room speaking?
I don't recall nothing that took place in the interrogation. But as we speak today, I'm telling you what I recall. When they shot at me with me, Deshaun, and my child, I remember every second of that night. I still see it every night I go to sleep. I still won't. That's it.
And is it true that in the same February interview, when Detective Curry left the room, it was just you and Deshaun, you said to her, "This shit not going to work. Sit right here and be a damn snitch, so I'm going to keep going." And she says to you, why are you saying, why you acting like you did? I didn't. They want me to say I did. Well, you should have said no. I thought you know all of them. And you said, I do know who it was. You were just saying you didn't know what to say. I did. When he jumped out the car, I know exactly who I saw. And she said, who? And he said, this shit got my blood pressure up. I think they be walking somewhere right here or something with the police right here. They had to be walking somewhere. They could have ran up to the car. And then you say, it's Tay and them. Do you recall telling Deshaun that when it was just the two of you in the room?
I don't recall saying that, but I have watched First 48, and any of my family members will tell you, I don't never watch police all day. Any movie, I just watch and learn how they operate. When that police left out, I knew they were still recording us. Like I said, I like it.
So why wouldn't? So if you told the detectives, I don't know who shot me, why didn't you just continue to say that? If you knew the cameras were running, why didn't you just tell Deshaun that knowing that the cameras were running?
Because my whole motive is to convince the police that I'm going to tell them the truth.
But you already convinced them, according to you, by telling them you didn't know who shot you, correct?
But you got to understand the difference, like how you put pressure on me now. You keep applying pressure. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, I'm liable to say anything, but the truth of the matter is I don't know who shot at me. Until Detective Gaither said one of the boys' name. And when she said one of the boys' name, she said blood. And when they locked me up the next day, I was in West Nine, and one of the boys came in like, he just came from Cub home, and he told me some stuff that happened that I was like, what? I put two and two together, and that's how I knew who shot at me.
Was Detective Gaither in the room when you were talking to Deshaun?
I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm talking about the whole time frame. When that investigator questioned me, you know what I mean? Like, it was, I know Tay personally. Like, I'm not going to tell you nothing about what me and Tay had going on, but y'all know like I know Tay didn't have nothing to do with me getting shot at.
Matter of fact, you just said you knew Tay. Didn't you tell Detective Curry that Tay had just been at your house a few days before the shooting?
Exactly. I invited him there.
Exactly. And you told the detective that's how you knew who he was, because he had been to your house.
You want to tell you why I invited Tay to my house? I'm not even going to do him like that. No, I'm not telling y'all that.
I'm not asking you to tell me anything. I'm asking you, Were you concerned about snitching, which is why you did not want to initially tell Detective Curry who shot at you?
Sustained.
After, in that same February interview, once Detective Curry left the room and you had an opportunity to talk to Deshaun, did you go, do you remember Detective Curry coming back into the room and speaking with you some more?
I don't remember. I don't recall how the interrogation went. I don't recall.
Do you recall being concerned that there was a whole gang after you because they thought that you had killed Nut?
I wouldn't be in the streets if that was the case.
Didn't you tell the detective at this February 20th interview, I can't run from it. It's a whole gang after me. Different niggas every day. It could be different niggas every day. Every day.
I was telling the investigators anything where I could be a victim, because if I caught one of them down bad, I'd be justified.
When you say caught them down bad, what does that mean?
Self-explanatory.
It's not. If you can tell me, what does that mean?
I don't recall.
Okay, so why did you just say that?
I don't know.
And in February of 2015, when you had this initial interview after you and your child mother was shot at, did you just want the police to do their job and find out who killed Nut so that people would stop coming after you?
Can you say that again?
Sure. In February of 2015, when you had this initial interview, did you just want the police to do their job so that people could stop coming after you? You wanted them to find out who killed Nut so people could stop coming after you.
You saying, did I say that?
Yes.
I guess I don't recall. I think so. I don't know.
Were you tired of people coming after you thinking that you killed Nut?
I was tired of getting shot at.
And were you getting shot at because people thought you killed Nut?
Sustained.
Did you believe that you were getting shot at because people thought you killed Nut?
I was getting shot at before that.
I'm talking about in January 2015.
I never got shot at in January 2015. I think I got shot at like in February or something like that.
When you were shot at and while you were in the car, was that in January 2015?
I don't recall. The only time I remember getting shot at is when I had my daughter. That's the only time I think I got shot at, if I'm not mistaken. After Nut got killed.
And you said you don't recall the time on the highway.
I don't remember if it was before or after he got killed. I told you, I've been shot at a lot.
Now, you said that you finessed them because they wanted the gun that you used to shoot back at the individuals who shot at you. What happened to that gun?
How do I know?
What did you do with the gun after you shot at them?
What gun?
the gun that you used to shoot at the individuals who shot at you?
I don't know nothing about no gun. I don't recall.
Did you just testify a few moments ago that while your baby was in your hand, you took the gun and shot at these individuals who shot at you?
Oh, I told them I throw that gun in the woods.
Who did you tell that to?
The police they caught me there that night, and they went to search the woods and they said they couldn't find me.
All right. Did you tell the detective who you were interviewing with that the gun was back at home and that you were going to go get the gun and bring it to them?
Yes, I think I told them that.
Okay.
I told them if they let me go, I'd bring the gun back.
And that specifically, you won't call Gaither and give Gaither the gun.
I don't know if I said that, but probably did.
And did you ever give Gaither the gun?
No.
Why not?
Is you crazy?
They asked you for the gun. Why didn't you give it to them?
I knew I wasn't gonna get in the gun from the start.
Okay. Did you eventually explain in June of 2015 the reason why you never gave Gaither the gun?
What you mean?
When you were interviewed in June of 2015, did you tell Gaither why you never gave her the gun?
I don't know.
Okay. Did you tell Gaither in June of 2015 that you never gave her the gun because it was Shannon's gun?
What I'm gonna do with Shannon gun?
Did you recall telling her that?
Ain't no telling. I probably did.
And that Shannon took the gun with him to while he was on tour with the.
No, I don't. I tell Gaither anything, just like I would tell the rest of the police. But as today, as in the truth of what happened was, I hid the gun in the neighbor house, and they bear from up under the sink.
So why wouldn't you just tell Gaither that you hid the gun?
Cause they're gonna lock me up for the gun. I ain't supposed to have it.
Okay, but you had already told her in January 2015 that you had a whole chopper. You didn't get arrested for having a chopper. So why would you get arrested for having this gun when you were protecting yourself from being shot at?
Because it don't matter what I tell them. They know I had guns, but it's what they catch me with.
Okay. And didn't Gaither and the detective who interviewed you the night that you were shot at told you that you wouldn't get in trouble? They just need the gun.
Yeah, but only a fool go for it.
Now, when you were talking to the detective back in this February 20th interview, do you recall him asking you questions about Tay and where Tay was from?
Which Tay?
The Tay that you initially said shot at your car.
Oh, I don't
I mean,
recall.
shot at you and Deshaun.
I don't recall.
And that Deshaun actually told the police that he's either from Mechanicsville or he's from Simpson Road.
Deshaun ain't tell them nothing.
And matter of fact, Deshaun, when they asked him how old is Tay, Deshaun told them.
Overruled because I think it's as to. Let me hear the rest of the question.
Sure. During this entire.
How's he supposed to know this?
Because he's present in the room when she's telling him.
All right. I'm going to overrule it.
In this same interview, Deshaun was able to tell the detective that this individual by the name of Tay was about 20 years old.
I don't recall Deshaun saying nothing to the police, other than she ducked down.
And that matter of fact, you actually told the detectives that you used to hang out with this Tay before he shot at you.
I told you, I tell detectives anything to get them up off me.
And specifically told him that you and him used to play basketball at Carver High School. The two of you used to play basketball on the basketball court at Carver.
I don't recall.
Miss Hilton, we're gonna need to. I mean, it doesn't have to be right this minute, but pick a stopping point sometime in the next 20 minutes or so.
Okay. Thank you, Ronna. You said earlier that you weren't concerned about being labeled a snitch. Is that fair to say?
Say that again?
Earlier, a few moments ago, you said you weren't concerned about being labeled a snitch. Is that fair to say?
I wasn't.
You was not.
What you mean?
That you didn't have any concerns being labeled a snitch. Is that correct?
I don't get what you're asking.
Back in 2015, were you concerned about people labeling you a snitch?
I was concerned about the safety of my family, so that's my mindset back then.
I'm asking you, were you concerned about being labeled a snitch?
A snitch is someone who tells the truth to the police.
Okay, so were you concerned about being labeled a snitch?
I was concerned about getting those who wrong me and the people I care about.
In the same February interview, did you tell Detective Curry, I went down here and I talked to her. Now everybody, excuse me, let me stop that. Did you tell Detective Curry during this interview, how can I survive this? How can I survive this? I can't go anywhere if I don't have money. Because Gaither called my phone when I was in front of Young Thug. She wanted me to talk. She wanted me to come down and talk. You feel me? Everybody there, everybody right there. You feel me? That's what I did. I left, went down here and talked to her. Now, everybody look at me like I'm a snitch now. It's just like I can't get no money. You know, I was just getting money by just doing nothing. Hey man, I need to borrow this right here, just hanging around going for the mall. He paid for everything for me. And now they think I'm a snitch.
First of all, I was breaking in the stove, so I'm always get me some money. That's what I'm gonna do. So what I told the investigators is just anything. I keep telling you that. You know what I mean? Like,
okay. So my question to you is, were you concerned back then about being labeled a snitch?
I was playing the victim card. I keep telling you that. It was about being labeled a snitch, because if I was concerned about being labeled a snitch, I would never even try to finesse my way out of no situation, because even lying to the police, y'all put it in there as in this and the third. I know anything that I say to a police officer, they're going to go into a police report anyway. So it's self-explanatory. I only care about getting myself out of the situation to protect my family. That's it.
And is that why you're changing your testimony here today?
I'm not changing my... I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Because you're concerned about being labeled a snitch.
Miss Hilton, the damn world called me a snitch. You think I'm only concerned about telling the truth today? I don't know what nobody else did, but I do know that I have lied on people, and I don't want that on my conscience. So today I'm sitting here telling you the truth. I told you the truth before y'all called me in this trial. I told y'all I have made it up. I told y'all that. I wasn't going to say anything about nothing to hurt my friend. My friend was straight. I was only protecting him.
So when you told the detectives about what happened the night of Donovan Thomas's murder, were you protecting a threat?
Yes, I was going to keep threat name out of it as much as possible.
Did threat have something to do with Donovan Thomas's murder?
I don't know what threat got something to do with it, but I know that this was the last person I gave that car to.
What car?
The Infinity car. And I wasn't going to say nothing about it.
What Infinity car did you give the threat?
The Infinity car that I had.
Okay. Is this the same car that you went to the rental car place with Thug and Thug rented the Infinity?
I'm talking about the gray Infinity car that me and Zachary was riding in. I rigged the car, put up on threat, gave the car the threat, and I left.
Okay. Is this the same Infinity that you told police that you went to the Hertz rental car place with Thug when he rented the Infinity?
I just told you that I gave Drake that car.
Ms.
I don't-
Copeland, that's not what she asked, so listen to what she asked and then answer that as best you can.
You're saying you gave Threat that Infinity. Is that what you're saying?
Hold on a second. Y'all just confused me. What you say, Young?
Well, I wanted Ms. Hilton to ask the question clearly and you listen to it and answer it. So ask the question you asked him a minute ago if that's what you want the answer to.
The Infinity that you're talking about, is that the Infinity that you went to the Atlanta airport with Thug when he rented the Infinity?
What you asking?
You're talking about an Infinity that you gave to Threat, correct?
Right.
The Infinity that you're referring to, is that the Infinity that you went to the Atlanta airport with Thug when he rented the Infinity?
Yes.
Okay. And that was the car that Thug rented, correct?
I asked him to rent me a car, and I rigged the car, and I gave the car the threat.
When did you give the car to Threat?
The same night I rigged it. The night before that happened.
Before what happened?
The same night it happened. I can't remember. I gave the car the threat, and I left.
Where did you give the car to Threat at?
At the studio.
What studio?
I pulled up and gave it to him and pulled right off.
What studio?
It was by Northside Drive, Marietta. It was one of them streets.
Was there anyone else at the studio when you gave the car?
I didn't go in the studio. I pulled up. I was pulling up, and I seen Threat. I gave Threat the car, jumped out of the car, got in my charge. Called my brother to come and get me.
And was this the day Donovan Thomas died? Was this a few days before? In relation to when Donovan Thomas died, when did you get Threat this vehicle?
I gave Threat that car. I rigged the car, gave it to Threat.
So when you wrecked the car, why would you give Threat a wrecked vehicle?
So I could. What you mean? It wasn't damaged bad. I don't know. I hit something on it, and then shit. The thing on the cover, it was tripping. So when I pulled up, I wasn't giving it to Threat, but I just seen him standing outside. I was like, he like, what you about to do? I'm like, just get the key real quick. I'll be right back. Gave Threat the car, and I dipped. I don't know if it was late, so when I woke up the next day, I came outside, and this when I heard what happened.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Hilton, is this a good time to
Yes,
start
it's a good
for
time
the
to
day?
start.
All right. All right, Mr. Copeland, we'll see you back here at 9 in the morning.
9.
9 in the
I
morning.
can go.
Yeah, you can go for now. All right, ladies and gentlemen. To maintain the integrity of this trial, remember that you need to decide this case based only on the evidence that is admitted during this trial and the law that I will explain to you. You should consider only the evidence admitted inside of this courtroom. You may not conduct any research on your own about this case or about any of the people or the places mentioned in this trial. You may not visit any places mentioned in the evidence, and you may not refer to any books or documents that have not been admitted during the trial. You should not take or review any photographs or video of any person or place involved in this case, except to review the evidence during your deliberations later. Also, you may not use any dictionaries or any other reference materials, including online reference materials, to help you in any way with this case. You may not use Google or any other internet search engine, or consult websites, blogs, podcasts, any social media websites, apps, including but not limited to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok, Reels, Twitch, YouTube, Kick, Reddit, or the like. I'm sure I left out a few, but any of those. Or any other source, electronic or otherwise, to get information about this case. And do not use any of these sources to get information about legal terms or concepts or about the law. Finally, do not watch, read, or listen to any accounts of this trial that might appear in the news media, whether online, in print, on television, on the radio, or otherwise. And this includes any social media as well. In short, do not seek any information about this case from any source outside of the confines of this courtroom. Remember, you are the ones who've been qualified as fair and impartial jurors to decide this case, and no other influence should affect your decision. For that reason, you may not discuss this case with anyone, including your family and friends, or let anyone discuss this case with you or around you. This includes discussion or sharing information in person or by phone, email, text, blog, or any form of social media. And if anyone does approach you about the case, please immediately let Sergeant Ingram or another deputy or court staff know that. Please remember that you should consider the evidence with an open mind, do not jump to conclusions, and do not reach any final conclusions until this trial is complete. And by that I mean until the deliberations begin, after you've heard all of the evidence, the lawyer's closing arguments, and the law that applies to this case. You must not, until that time, even discuss the case amongst yourselves in the jury room, during breaks, or anywhere else. Please remember to leave your notes and notepads in the jury room as you leave for the evening. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and we will see you at 9 a.m. in the morning. Thank you. You're excused for now. All right, y'all can be seated. I'm going to have Ms. Pursfield double check and confirm with the jurors their understanding of what days next week they were released. I thought it was Monday through Thursday, but I just want to make sure that they don't think they're also off Friday. I got told that maybe the one juror who's taking her kid to school might be doing the whole drive back on Thursday, so I'm just going to double check on that. But I am planning for us to work pretty much the whole week next week just as a non-jury week. If it turns out that they are ready to come back on Friday or think that that's when they were being called back anyway, then that'll be a jury day for us. But otherwise, at least it'll be Monday through Thursday non-jury, and we'll just see about Friday based on what they think. I'll just go with whatever they have already been told by the predecessor judge. All right, so I know there's some things we need to deal with next week. I know, Misty Williams, you have sent a more particularized motion to suppress, so I appreciate that. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but we'll take that up. There's a motion to exclude late identified, I guess, co-conspirator statements that we'll take up then. If we're lucky, we can get to what everybody understands the exhibit list admissions are. I don't think that's the most critical thing to do, but if we get around to it, we need to have confirmation on the motion in limine 49 concerning the PowerPoint. Do y'all have an answer to that yet?
I don't. My answer is preliminary. I just remember what I said, and it was not contained in, partially contained in the motion in limine. So we are looking back at the transcript and the video because my recollection of it is different than what's being represented in motion in limine number 49. And mine was specifically that we were not intending to introduce it at that time through that witness. So, and that day. So we're going back.
All right.
Because.
So you think that it's possible that you didn't actually say we don't ever want to introduce it or use it? You think it may have just been.
I know I did say that we don't ever want to introduce it.
All right, and so then it sounds like there's still going to need to be a ruling on that because y'all do want to introduce that.
We do want to use that. We intend. That's why we gave it to them. We were going to use it through Detective Dennis at the end of the Donovan Thomas and at the end of the retaliatory shooting.
All right, and I know that I've got the defense position on that. I don't know if you had said that you filed a written response ever.
I did, but to his number 49, I will file a written response because when we got that, we were looking through. Like that's not the recollection that I have. We were looking through to make sure that he had contained. And it doesn't. His motion does not contain the entirety of what was said in that colloquy. And the matter of the PowerPoint was addressed on 2 different days, I believe.
Okay. Well, just get that in sometime this week. So that's another thing we can deal with and resolve next week. I know we still have wiretap evidence outstanding that we need to reach at some point. I think that's everything other than we need to have a date for the remedial training. And Ms. Love, if you can provide to the court the identity of all of the team members, at least the lawyer team members, and if you want to have investigators or anybody else participate in the remedial training, that's up to you, but at least all of the lawyers that are on this team. And I am thinking, I know I have got a conflict Monday morning, Monday the 19th, between 8 and 12. I'll be here for the afternoon. And I'm thinking if that would be an ideal time to do that, I'm just thinking y'all come into the courtroom, there'll be a deputy. You can sit and watch the video and be done with it.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay. Do whatever it is at the court.
All right, that sounds good. So anyway, that's what I know scheduling wise for now. If anybody has any issues or can think of anything else that I didn't just touch on that we also need to take up next week. Okay. All right, and then just as a heads up, you know, in terms of scheduling. Oh, hang on. All right. So looking ahead just a little bit. Next week, we've already discussed. The week after that begins the 26th, we will be in court, I imagine, with the jury, the 26th, 27th, and 28th. That's Monday through Wednesday. The 29th and 30th, the court has plans because the court was not always assigned to this case, and the court's not changing those plans. The court needs a break every once in a while. So we are going to have Thursday the 29th and Friday the 30th off entirely. That's Labor Day weekend. We have the Monday off anyway because that's Labor Day. So y'all can choose to also take a break. You can choose to work the entire time. You can choose to make some other judge's day by actually being able to have a day with them in court. That's up to y'all, but y'all do not have to be with me on August 29th and 30th. All right? And that's what I know at this point in time. All right, anything else before we break for the evening? Yes, ma'am.
I want to get clarification on the timeline of the witness and exhibit list that state's supposed to turn into us, and whether you want our motions after they give it to us, or you want us to file it now.
What do you mean?
Because like my Jackson Dental motion,
Yeah.
I filed it late because I didn't know until July 31st that they were going to use that interview.
I'm not sure that, okay, I mean, if that's what you said, great, you didn't know for certain, but I mean, Jackson Denos are normally a pretrial thing, and y'all can get with the state and ask them anytime, but as soon as you know that there might be an issue with something and you know about it, you just go ahead and let me know, and if we get around to it, and the state says, we don't even want to use that because you haven't bothered to ask the state yet or for whatever reason, then we won't worry about it. But yeah, don't wait. Don't wait. Go ahead and file everything. Everything should already have been filed. But yeah, so on the timing.
I did ask the state, and they said they weren't going to use it.
All right, well, we'll take that up next week. All right, I will see. Anything else? All right, I'll see all of y'all at 8:45 because inevitably there's something that we need to sort out or put on the record or something before the jury gets in. See y'all tomorrow. Thanks.
You gotta hear about this. Go from idea to illustration faster with generative AI in Adobe Illustrator. Generate custom graphics, create seamless patterns, and instantly fill shapes with detail and color. Try Illustrator today. You won't be sorry.
Good morning. Mr. Copeland, do you know a person by the name of Shell Cal?
I don't recall.
So you don't recall if you know someone by the name of Shell Cal?
Sustain.
Do you recall speaking with law enforcement about an individual that you know by the name of Shell Cal?
I don't recall.
I want to go back to December of 2014 and into January of 2015. Were you present at a gambling house in Lakewood when the shooting occurred?
I don't recall.
Let me ask you. Also back in 2015, do you remember being at a Cascade skating ring speaking with an individual by the name of Shell Cal?
I don't recall.
Back in January of 2015, do you recall being at a Club Crucial and getting into a fight with an individual by the name of Shell Cal?
I don't recall nothing that happened years ago.
Okay. Do you recall in January of 2015 having to go to the Atlanta Police Department to talk about whether or not you were involved in the murder of an individual by the name of Donovan Thomas Jr.?
Say that again.
Do you recall in January of 2015 having to go to the Atlanta Police Department to speak about your potential involvement in the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr.?
I don't recall.
Right. On January 11, 2015, did you go to the Atlanta Police Department at about 3 o'clock in the morning?
I don't recall.
Okay. And did you speak with a detective by the name of Detective Thorpe?
I don't recall who I speak with. I don't recall.
And during that interview, did you go down there to speak with him about the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr.?
I don't recall who I spoke with.
Okay. And in that same interview, did you speak with him about not just the murder of Donovan Thomas, but events that led up to the murder of Donovan Thomas on June 10th, 2015?
I'm a liar. So you want me to remember something that I done lied about in the past? Like, I don't know.
So my question for you is, did you go to the Atlanta Police Department? Is your response you don't recall?
I don't recall.
And during that interview with Detective Thorpe at the Atlanta Police Department, did you provide him your name and your date of birth?
Huh?
When you went to the Atlanta Police Department and met with Detective Thorpe, did you give him your date of birth?
I don't know.
Okay. And is your date of birth July 25th, 1991?
What?
Is your date of birth July 25th, 1991?
I think.
Okay. And during this interview, did you tell Detective Thorpe that you also have a middle name of Xavier?
I don't know what I told. I don't remember what I told him. I'm not trying to say the wrong thing so y'all can lock me back up.
All right. Well, just bear with me. We're going to go through that interview, okay?
Objection to the commentary.
Disregard the commentary by the witness.
Now, during the interview, did you speak with Detective Thorpe about the issues you had with a person by the name of Kel?
I don't recall.
And did you speak with Detective Thorpe about a problem that the two of you all had in the club?
I don't recall.
Okay. And did you tell Detective Thorpe in that same interview that Kel was Nut's little brother?
I don't know if they brothers or not.
Okay. So do you know who Kel is?
No, I don't recall.
Okay. And when I say Nut, is that Donovan Thomas Jr.?
You asking me that?
I am asking you that.
Say it again?
Sure. Do you know a person that goes by the name of Nut?
I don't recall.
Okay. Now, in that same interview, did you tell Detective Thorpe about you and Kel getting into the fight at Club Crucial?
I don't recall nothing from 2015, 14, 16, none of that.
Okay. And during that same interview, did you tell Detective Thorpe that you and Kel had been in a beef for maybe about no longer than 4 months, and this was back in 2015?
And he's still alive?
My question is, did you tell Detective Thorpe that you, Michelle Kel, at that time in 2015, had a beef, and it was probably going on around 4 months at that time?
I tell the detective whatever they want me to say, whatever they want to hear, whatever. So if I said it to him, I said it to him. I don't recall what I said to no police.
Okay. And during that same interview, did you tell Detective Thorpe that whenever y'all were in the club, y'all would initially just throw up birds at each other?
Huh?
In this January 11, 2000 interview, did you tell Detective Thorpe that initially, when you and Michelle Kel were in the club, y'all never really fist fought? Y'all just would throw up birds at each other?
Like I told you, before y'all called me to trial, I have lied. I made things up. I told you this before y'all brought me in this courtroom. And I'm telling you now, you asked me about 2015. I have got my life together. Y'all trying to put this on my conscience. Y'all trying to put people's life in my hands. I don't lie on people. I don't want to be here. Y'all have pressured me. I'm tired of y'all, because y'all know y'all are wrong. And y'all black people doing this to us.
And I understand that.
Leave me alone. Let me leave. Man, y'all pissing me off. Listen, I don't recall nothing I said to no police. Stop asking me these questions. I'm telling you I don't recall.
I understand, but we're going to have to get through the questions. You can just continue to say you don't recall if that's what it is.
That's what you want me to say?
My name's Jeff Turner. I printed over $1 million in U.S. banknotes, and this is how crime works. I've been called the Picasso of counterfeiting. From my perspective, it wasn't that hard to do it, if that makes sense. It just took a lot of trial and error, basically. The bills just progressively got better and better until eventually got caught, and the Secret Service said the bills I were making were the best they've seen in 25 years. I started counterfeiting when I kind of found myself in a desperate financial situation. I wrecked a work truck, so I lost my job. And, you know, I had a newborn baby at home. The lease was up in our house. So I was just kind of, you know, in a desperate spot. I was just trying to think of some way to get my family back on their feet, you know. And counterfeiting just ended up being like the safest, easiest way. The majority of the money I printed was the 96 series $100 bill. I also counterfeited some of the 2013, the new blue notes, but really that was more of like a hobby for me, like just kind of a challenge. The longest process to start counterfeiting was making the digital files. I would say I spent 2 months of just editing these images. Really, Wikipedia has pretty high resolution photos in their stock, and I broke the image down to multiple layers. So I would have one image of just the background color. I'd jumble up the serial numbers. I knew I needed to find a real thin paper that was opaque enough to where you couldn't see the strip and watermark through the face of the bill. I went through rice paper, vellum paper, tracing paper, you know, toilet paper, wrappers on toilet paper. I ended up finding that Bible paper was perfect. Bible paper glows a dull purple just like money does. I would acquire the Bible paper by going into like bookstores and just kind of taking out the blank pages. Inevitably, I ran out of bookstores in Knoxville. I would coat the bills with a matte lacquer spray can, which basically enabled the counterfeit detection pens to mark yellow. I would also use invisible ink UV pen to draw an invisible line over the strip. I also found a certain type of iridescent green eyeshadow that I would basically paint on to the 100 in the bottom corner to kind of replicate the color shifting ink. One cashier would run her fingernail along a Benjamin Franklin shirt to kind of feel the rigid texture. I ended up going to like a Hobby Lobby and I found a fine tip glue pen. It would dry and give a little texture to a shirt. The 3D security ribbon on the modern $100 bill was hard to crack. The Bureau of Engraving and Printing kind of outsources a company to produce the paper and some of the security features. And I was able to find the patent rights. So it's like it basically explained how to do it. The trial and error was definitely frustrating. When I first started counterfeiting, I would just experiment and I'd mess up 5 for every one that I made well. Towards the end, I could make a perfect counterfeit $100 bill in probably 5 or 10 minutes. I've had a few printers kind of break on me. Sometimes the paper would just get so jammed up. It's not so much noisy because I'm using digital printers, but the matte lacquer spray smells.
Yeah, we don't went
really
from
bad.
court to paint.
So a lot of times, like maids at hotels would come into my room and thinking we're like huffing paint or like something. I'd have to say, oh, my wife spilled nail polish or, just make up these little lies. But eventually I rented a house and I had ventilation fans that would suck the matte lacquer.
All right. Somebody in here? I'm about to start another live, y'all, because this one been going on a long time.